How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks and we focus on one thing. Always protect your profits. And today we're going to be talking about Lucid. And I must say, the price action in this stock has been a sight to behold. I was able to close out my $40 puts. Yes, I broke even on that. I had a lot more success day trading this stock. So one of the things that I'm going to be talking about, since we did have a strong sell-off towards the end of the day, is to get you prepared for tomorrow. So I won't waste any more time. Let's jump into the agenda. If you're new to this channel, I just want to let you know we have timestamps down below inside the description. But if you're a shareholder, you're thinking about taking a position, I highly suggest you watch this full entire video. So the first thing we're going to go over is the technical analysis. We're going to be taking a look at the overall price action. We want to know support. We want to know resistance. We want to know what it looks like in the bearish case scenario and as well as in the bullish case scenario. And then we're going to go on Fintel, taking a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest information. The reason why this is important because it does have an impact on the way the stock performs. And then we're going to take a look at the order flow distribution. We want to know the buying and the selling behavior on the retail side and as well as on the institutional side. And then when all of that is done, we'll be going into the final thoughts and as well as some more details. So let's get to it. So we're going to do a technical analysis for Lucid. Let's see how it performed on the day. So it ended up closing at $38.72, being down 3.27%. On the low, it tested $38.69, and then on the high, testing $42.95. When we take a look at our volume stats on the day, you can see we traded at 45.29 million shares, and the average volume over 10 trading days is at 46.815 million shares. So right away, you can see we dealt with a good amount of selling pressure, especially since we had a sell-off towards the end of the day. Now, when we take a look at our chart, which is a daily chart, you can see from the RSI down below, it is at 45.70. And then when we take a look at our moving averages here, we have strength above the 200-day, the 100-day, but we are below the 50-day and as well as the 21-day EMA. So one of the things I want you guys to look out for, Lucid could easily get into around the area of $30.24 going into tomorrow. You can see inside of the after hours, it's at $38.15. So what this means is there's a possibility tomorrow that we could end up testing around the $36 range, and as well, like I was talking about in the previous video, around $34 as well. But if we have buyers who are stepping in, which has been very consistent as of late, then we could be able to actually hold up around this 37 area. So again, keep a very close eye. If it wants to do a reversal, then of course the level you're going to want to look out for is above 42.50. We actually ended up getting to around $42.95, and I was like, are we going to be making that move to the 50-day at 43.48? It would have been possible if the markets were a lot stronger, but since they weren't, that's why we're able to see this top at 42.95, and then it started selling off. So let's see what it does going into tomorrow. So we're going to take a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest information for Lucid. So as we scroll down further on the page, green rows indicate new positions while red rows indicate closed positions. So when we take a look at recent filings, January the 20th, we have Herald Advisors Inc. that closed out their position. And then when we see here, we have Nordea Investment Management AB that purchased 18,875 shares. And then we also have Sumitomo Mitsui DS Asset Management Company Limited that purchased 23,100 shares. And now when we take a look at the short interest, the dark pool short volume ratio is at 56.43%, and then for the dark pool short volume, it is just over 11 million shares. Scrolling down further on the page, the short shares availability is at 10,000, updated 18 minutes ago, and then for the short ball free rate, it is at 60.57%. When we take a look at the history of the short volume, we can see for the close of the 18th, it was at 56.45. And then for the close of the 19th, which was yesterday, it was at 56.43. So it is staying consistent, but one thing that is clear, Lucid does continue to have short squeeze potential. So now let's move on to the order flow distribution. Now let's take a look at the order flow distribution for Lucid. So we can see here on the inflow, it's at 359, and then on the outflow, it's at 417. So it was an outflow day. Taking a look at the breakdown on the large, it was 9.21. On the medium, it was 184. And then on the small, it was 165. Keep in mind, these numbers are in the millions. Taking a look at the outflow side, we can see on the large, it was 10.95. On the medium, it was 203. And then on the small, it was 203. And then for the large scale orders in the last 5 days, you can see for today, it being that outflow of negative 1.73 million. Keep in mind, before the market started selling off, we had a lot more buying, or we had an inflow for large scale orders. So that is one thing that you're going to want to keep in mind. And then when we analyze the numbers even further for the small scale orders that tends to represent the retail side, we had more selling than we had buying. Not surprising. And then when we take a look at what happened on the medium, we had more selling than we had buying. And for the large, which we just covered, which represents whales, institutions, and funds, we had more selling than we had buying. But before the market sold off, I'm telling you, we had a lot more inflows on the institutional side. Now, when we take a look at the turnover ratio, it was at 2.77%. So Lucid continues to stay in this strict range. We know there's a lot of traders inside of the play, and we also did see a big time tech sell-off, a sell-off in the market overall. So this added even more volatility. So now let's move into the final thoughts, and we'll go over some more details as well. So for my final thoughts for Lucid, when it comes to the overall price action, we've been talking about in the Discord, there's clear manipulation that is going on. We see, as far as for large scale orders, institutions have been loading up, especially as this week has been going. And we also see on the retail side, there was a lot of selling that was happening. So one thing that was very clear, that they wanted to have this stock trading in a very tight range. And this is not good for anyone who's trading with options, especially if you are not averaging down or you're not scalping. So this is why I was saying I saw a lot more success day trading Lucid than saying, well, you know what, I'm going to buy this option and hold it for a long period of time. If you were going to do that, then you had to average down, especially when it did have those spikes. And that's why I was able to sell those $40 puts at break even. So for the price action tomorrow, if we have weakness inside of the market and we continue to see a sell-off in tech, I want to see Lucid get to around $37.50. There's a good amount of support there, and if it does break through that, that's where I could see this stock going to around 35. But I really don't see a big sell-off happening until maybe next week. So that's just one thing you want to be aware of. And also, as far as if you want to see some strength or a reversal, we see that it got to around 42.95 for the high of the day. I was telling you guys 42.50 is a very crucial area. It was able to pass it, but again, 43 had that resistance. So unless this stock makes a move to 42.50 and then going to $45, I'm really not seeing it go to $50 this week, or I should just say for tomorrow. Maybe it could happen next week, but it's looking very bearish, especially with the conditions we're in. Also, when we went on Fintel, taking a look at the short interest information, it does continue to have short squeeze potential, and we also do see institutions have been loading up on shares. But we saw this going on throughout the whole entire time. While the market was falling, Lucid was holding up a lot of strength. And this is because institutions were purchasing up shares, even though retail was selling a lot. And this makes me want to go into the next point. As far as for the stock market as a whole, you have to understand, big money moves the market. So even as retail investors and traders, we could sell out of a particular stock, but if institutions or funds or whales want to keep it up, they're going to keep it up, right? So that's just one thing you need to understand. And that's why whenever you have predictions or you're saying, well, you know what, the stock should be doing this news came out, this came out, blah, 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 but it's not happening, is because, you know what, this happens a lot inside of the market. And then when you have manipulation behind it, if there's institutions and whales saying, well, you know what, no, we want to keep the price here, that's what's going to happen. So as a response, we have to say, well, you know what, we need to have a different strategy to find out how we could find opportunities. And this is why I talk about in my videos, trading off the support, the resistance, see where that weakness is, and then see if you can capitalize on that. So let's see how the stock performs going into tomorrow, and most definitely I'm going to be looking to be trading it. And if you want to get some more tips and some more helpful info, then by all means, join our Discord. There's a lot of people in there, as well as myself, that'll be more than willing to help you out so you can be successful inside of the market. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll be talking real soon.